Good day, everyone. Thank you very much to the University of the Cordilleras, especially to Dr. Christian Pascual for having me. Dr. Pascual and I were in the same Fulbright cohort in 2017, and now it's an honor to virtually meet the faculty and students from his alma mater. Today, I will be sharing about my US academic experience, and I will be giving a few tips for acing the Fulbright application. I attended the master's program in food science at Louisiana State University under a Fulbright CHED scholarship. First, let me share a throwback photo. This was one of the very few photos that I took when I went to Manila for the Fulbright interview. And of course, this was at my own cost. I can still vividly remember how it was a big struggle for me. I had a lot of things to attend to right before the flight. Just an hour or two before the supposed boarding time, I was still packing at home, and I arrived in Manila with no accommodation. So I had to search for one the moment I got there. Even after the interview, my crazy guts were telling me that I might not make it. Fast forward to a few months after that, I officially became a Fulbright CHED scholarship recipient. Let me also share with you a photo of the Fulbright CHED pioneering badge. This was taken during the pre-departure orientation. And here's another photo with our dear Mom Gigi, a few days before I left for the US. So, how did I become so lucky? Let me share some pointers for aspiring Fulbright scholars like you. First, know your strengths and know what makes you happy. Know what you're good at and hone it, cultivate it. This form of self awareness will guide us and inspire us to mold a future that we can lead. And Fulbright will be a huge part of this opportunity. Second, look for opportunities. It may be challenging at present because of this pandemic, which is somehow limiting student exchange mobility, but opportunities are always there. I remember I learned about the Fulbright CHED scholarship through the UP Mindanao email thread, and I had only a week to comply with all the requirements. Knowing your core and nurturing a determined outlook will help you write your Fulbright essays eventually from the heart. Now, for the interview proper, it would be best to prepare answers to these questions. First, what research do you want to pursue? So you have to know specifically what study you want to work on, what are the methods, and what makes conducting the research in the US different. Second, why do you want to study in the US? So you may have to go back to the mission of Fulbright, the aim of the Fulbright Exchange Program, which is to foster partnership, to cultivate a harmonious relationship. So you have to have that sense of community. Third, how do you intend to give back? Fulbright scholars have to serve the country for a couple years upon the completion of the program. So even at the beginning, you have to identify how you are going to do that. Fourth, be confident and smile. After the interview, prayers would really help. You have to have that faith in God and faith in yourself. And just like me, you may also be given the chance to study in the US as an undergraduate or as a graduate student. I am in food science, and my further acquisition of knowledge and experiences in the field greatly increased my passion to serve the community as a food scientist. So now I will be sharing some photos about my academic experience in the US. One of the things that I enjoyed as a food science student was the chance to visit several food industries. Shown here are my classmates in the food preservation class, and we were in a local beer manufacturing company. This field trip was important to me because I eventually worked on beer for my thesis project. My research was on ale beer containing free and immobilized Lactobacillus brevis, a potential delivery system for probiotics. I can say that my experiences as a food science researcher at LSU and in the US really molded me into a better person in terms of a lot of aspects in my life. So I've grown better professionally, and in terms of my internal growth, I saw myself improve. These are some photos of me during the experimentation process. And this research project also landed an award in the Institute of Food Technologists Incorporated annual meeting. This is an international food science conference, perhaps the biggest one, and I got an award as the third place in the biotechnology division research poster competition. So this is another good thing about being able to study in the US. You will have a closer opportunity to participate in international conferences. And this is a photo during my thesis defense. And that project also won as the first place in the Fulbright category of the annual LSU International Research Fair contest. This was a fun event because I was also able to learn about the research initiatives of fellow graduate students, fellow international students, and fellow Fulbright scholars. My master's research project also recently gained attention, and it's all because of Dr. Christian Pascual. He recently started this YouTube channel called Crim Hub PH to promote criminology. And in one of the segments called the TED Talk, he invited me to shoot about my thesis project. And I was surprised that this got attention, and I'm very grateful for that because I see how the general public has been appreciating more the research initiatives in general. In my case, that's on probiotics and functional food development. When I was at LSU, I also assisted my lab mates in their respective research projects. So it would be helpful for you if you also explore other researches, if you also get involved in other research projects, because through that, you will expand your knowledge and experience. In this project, we were feeding probiotics to mice for an in vivo study. Last year, I was also able to present two posters about our research projects in UP Mindanao. We presented these projects on alubati and malunggay. As a graduate student, of course, you will take a lot of classes. So take them seriously, but also don't forget to take a break. When I was at LSU, I had to balance all of these classes, research, and of course, your break, rest, as well as social life. Before I graduated, the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi LSU chapter granted me this Outstanding Master's Student Award. I would also like to share their motto, which is let the love of learning rule humanity. This has had a huge impact on me. I was also involved in the LSU Food Science Club as the vice president, and through this, we were able to connect with fellow food science students from different parts of the world. When you get the chance to study in the US as a Fulbright scholar, make sure to also affiliate with other organizations. I was also active in the International Student Association as a member at large, and I encouraged fellow Filipino students to participate in international events so we can showcase the Filipino culture to others. In the middle photo, the guy beside me is the LSU president. He's very humble. Also, I was joining volunteering activities. In the first photo, that was during the agricultural day. We were guiding kids, young students, during an agricultural tour. In the middle photo, that was during the spring greening day. We were planting all around the campus. And in the third photo, that's a Facebook invite for the Bali Hop dance class. So I was teaching hip hop dance classes to international students. I was also able to overcome a lot of challenges. Perhaps this is one of the biggest challenges that I encountered. During my last semester, that was last year, because of teaching hip hop dance classes, I broke my knee by accident. So I had to undergo a surgery to reconstruct my torn ACL. And for one semester, I was in a wheelchair, I was on crutches. It was challenging because I had to defend my thesis. And I was taking courses too. I took a very difficult course on engineering. But eventually, I was able to overcome these challenges, of course, with the help of the people around me. Last year, I graduated with a GPA of 4.186. And this is a photo with my major professor, Dr. Subramaniam Satibel. And here's my lab group at LSU. I'm in the Food Engineering and Bioprocessing Systems group. Once you become a Fulbright scholar, you will also be given the chance to attend this Fulbright Enrichment Seminar. This was in Salt Lake City in Utah. It was a very fun experience to mingle with fellow Fulbright scholars from different parts of the world. Here are fellow Filipino Fulbright scholars. And here are more photos with Fulbright scholars from around the globe. When I came back last year, of course, I had to take another photo with Ma'am Gigi during the debriefing. So again, come home and give back. I came back to the University of the Philippines, Mindanao as an assistant professor, and I've been teaching food science and chemistry courses. I've also been involved in several research projects. My academic experience in the US highly inspired me into starting something new. So just this year, it was during COVID that we started this unique milk tea venture. It's probiotic milk tea that is good for the gut. So I have to say that I'm very thankful for the Fulbright Shed Scholarship for giving me the opportunity to conduct probiotic research in the US because it really helped me come up with this brainchild, the tea culture PH. I want to end with this quote from Dr. William Fulbright. The essence of intercultural education is the acquisition of empathy. The purpose of the exchange program is to erode the culturally rooted mistrust that sets nations against one another. The Fulbright program in the Philippines is the longest running Fulbright program in the world and the oldest international program in the country. For me, this is an indication of how successful the Fulbright program has been in fulfilling its goal of improving the relations between the US and the Philippines. The intercultural opportunities allow for a deeper realization of diversity, providing a platform for fostering unity and peace between both countries. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I will be glad to answer your